So I want to bring on Gina, but I have a major announcement also. And Albert, do you want to do the major announcement after Gina, or how do you want to do? You want to do the Marks Madness announcement before Gina? How would you like to do this, Albert?
Let's do it after. I don't want to keep the guests waiting.
All right, I like that. I like that. Albert is taking charge, really. Yeah, I think he's really growing into his own, as they say. All right, we'll do it after.
The Mark Thompson Show.
Put it together for the new author and the former sidekick to Adam Carolla. She's one of the great broadcasters and news people that I've ever worked with. It is so cool to have Gina Grad with us, everybody. Hey, Gina Grad.
Hey, thank you so much. And thank you to Albert. This is the first time I've ever been a guest that hasn't been pushed for a plug. So I appreciate that.
It was touch and go. I would have pushed you myself.
No, I heard it with my own ears. So again, thank you to Albert.
Yeah. Oh, no. Without Albert, you're getting pushed because I know my priorities are always with the major announcement.
I'd go put another pot of coffee on.
Yeah, I meet Kim, who is also so gifted, Gina.
Hi.
Kim, this is exciting.
Yeah,
I am so excited to talk to you. I just really want to compare notes about Adam Carolla and Mark Thompson. Like, who's the better guy to work with?
Two peas in a pod, virtually indistinguishable.
There you go.
Oh, okay. I
like
it.
That's a bad thing. But I do like that you were such a part of that world for so long,
yeah, 8 years.
Yeah, and that's not an easy world, I think, to run with because Carolla's a big personality and, you have to find your way and your shots. And that's always the way it is when you occupy that role on a show. It's both critical, but also difficult, right?
Yes, I've always compared it to running alongside a bullet train while trying to jump into double dutch. And I don't know if I ever really kept up, but the train never left me behind. And that's, I think, as best as you're going to get in that situation.
Well, I used to listen to that show, and I just thought you worked perfectly with all of that. So you've now begun this, I don't know if I'm going to call it career or whatever, however you endeavor.
Yes, endeavor.
Yeah. There it is, the book. Albert, can you put together a banner so we can maybe post the banner for
what's it called, Gina? What's it called?
Sorry, I'm trying to get this in front of the screen.
My Extra Mom.
My Extra Mom. And I wrote it specifically because it was the book I was looking for and couldn't find. So I wrote it. People always go, God, the next invention you need is just, what are people missing? And I'm like, I don't know. We have everything. But this is something I was seeking out actively, couldn't find it. And I thought I can't be the only one. So hopefully it'll help someone else. I'm a stepmom. And I came into this little guy's life when he was 2.5, and I was desperate for resources to show him kind of who I was and what this family was turning into, and in sort of a very gentle way. And it didn't exist, or at least not in my pursuit of finding it. So we just sort of fumbled our way through the dark, made a lot of mistakes, had a lot of fun. And now that he's almost 8 years old, I thought, you know what, hopefully this will be a resource for other people. It's kind of threefold. It's to, like I said, introduce to a little one, the new sort of possible family dynamic, and to show that to primary and biological parents, this is extra. That's why it's called Extra Mom. This is not a threat to or in place of what you're doing. This is in addition to what we're all doing to help this child succeed. And by the way, I think the stories that come to mind when we talk about stepmoms involve not going to the prince's ball, getting lost in the woods after you've been banished by the queen, being locked in a tower, your hair grows real long. So kind of also hoping to change the vibe of what we think of when we think of stepmoms.
It's so funny that you say that. It's so funny you say that because I was just about to say, sadly, the moniker of stepmom has been smeared. It's got a stink on it almost. So it's always the evil stepmother. There's never a sense that you oddly could be upgrading with your stepmom, or just, as you say, it's the extra mom. And it's weird how children's literature is littered with all of these references to stepmothers who are bad.
Right.
Yes, it's part of the lore of society. It's you know, all over Europe, all over America. That's, you know, these stories and come from all over the world. And I get it. Easy scapegoat. I'm with you. I had stepmoms. We had better relationships than others. Some were okay, some weren't. But I get it. I just think that as a cross section of society, most people are good, and that includes the women that come into the lives of little kids because we fell in love with these men, and it's all gonna work out, and we can make it okay.
I think step parents have a real opportunity to be that person who isn't the parent, but has more of a friendship and can really offer more guidance. And I've seen it over and over again. I have it in my own life. So you know, the stepmom isn't always the evil one.
It's funny because I don't know if you're familiar with this term. I only became familiar with this term when I joined how many Facebook groups, because I'm real into Facebook groups. And there's a term that I'd never heard before called nachoing. And it is prevalent throughout the step community.
Like
and
nacho mama?
What?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's nacho kids.
Yeah.
And
So
people,
what is that?
Some people subscribe to it, some people don't, but it's basically a more removed way of step parenting. They're not my kids. He has, you know, they have two primary parents. I'm going to step back and let them deal with all of this. And I think in my life, we have kind of a combination. I think we're a little more hands-on in this house, but when things really get, when I know that I am powerless and things are out of my control and it's really not my business, I do everything to go, well, you know what? I'm going to go on a walk. You guys have fun figuring that out, and I'll be back to make dinner in an hour.
Well, you have it. So your stepson is in 3rd grade?
Wait one second. Prevalent is
Second grade. Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, is somebody here?
We ding SAT words on this show. So prevalent. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
It's a good thing, not a bad thing.
I don't know. I'm feeling a little trepidatious about the dinging.
Oh my!
Oh, that's another dinging.
It is, but let's not go out of it. If you have to drive too far off the road for the ding,
she is an author. It is a dingathon.
No,
that's right.
We can all start off the ding words all day, but that's not what we're doing. So, what was your question, Kim? I'm sorry, I kind of stepped on you.
I didn't have. We were talking about the 8. I have a 3rd grader. I have a 9. Mine just turned 9.
Oh, nice.
So I know what's going on in your house. So you know.
Do you think your 3rd grader is ready for a new mom?
Some days, yes, I do.
What?
I'm not gonna lie. There's some days where I'm like, Gina, could you please
come on over, hang out?
I need a break. Yeah.
You know, the reason that this is also complicated is because sometimes the extra mom or extra parent is brought into a situation where there is the mom. Sometimes the mom is no longer in the picture. Sometimes the mom is kind of this, the natural mother I'm talking about is not the best person, toxifies the kid's view of the extra mom. You realize that, I mean, you've got your own world to navigate as the new parent, if you will, as the new person in this super important relationship with a child.
You're absolutely right. And to that, I'm so glad you highlighted that, because everybody comes from a different situation. I have finally realized I'm a very impatient person. I like the instant gratification, but as I get older, I realize it don't work that way. So I've had to sort of succumb to the long game of everything. And what I've realized is that actions are what solidify thinking in the long game, not just talking. So what I mean by that is my husband and I setting a really nice, solid example to my stepson of what a healthy, excuse me, I'm getting over a little something, what a healthy relationship looks like, what it looks like to communicate well, to have a lot of laughter in the house, a lot of joking, a lot of love. That's going to go a lot farther than, you should really, da, 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 da. We try to show, in fact, if my husband and I get a little spat, I would never do this because I'm not this confident, but my husband will call in our stepson and go, hey, I want you to see this. Gina, I'm really sorry. I messed up. Here's how I bet it made you feel. Here's how I'm going to fix it. Now, again, he's a better person than I am.
Wow,
but
he's involved, man.
He'll make our stepson stand there and watch.
Man,
because like, this is how you apologize.
Yeah,
wow.
he knows that he has a boy.
My lunch that there's alcohol.
No.
He is treating his boy how to treat a woman. That's right.
Exactly. So that's what I mean. But, you know, a lot of these situations, I think, you know, either if you don't know what's going on in the other house, or maybe, you know, you have fears about that, as long as things are solid in your house and you're kind of cleaning up your own mess, kids see everything. They have an example. And I hopefully, you know, I don't worry about, I don't put too much stock in that, because I know whatever happens here, I know he's getting what we think he needs.
That's really cool. Are you doing a podcast now? I feel like you are, right, Gina?
It's funny you should say that. I needed a break. I've had a mic in my face every day, literally, since 2006. And between KLSX and all the podcasts and the Pretty Good Podcast and KFI and 100.3, and I've never. This is all daily, by the way. So I took a little break, but as you know, my dear friend Teresa Strasser and I had a podcast called Easy Listening, where it was kind of like Talk Soup for podcasts.
She's another super talented person.
She's
incredible.
She has a book coming out in June that I absolutely think you should talk to her about. It's going to be incredible, but way bigger deal than mine. Seriously, I mean, this is a big deal. She's doing a grief and baseball kind of. It's amazing. But anyway, yeah, we may get the band back together, is what I was going to say.
I see. Okay.
But right now, I just need a little break.
It's hard. I mean, you know, these podcasts and shows and these live streams that we're doing now, it takes a lot of energy to do it if you care about it. You know, if it's just like something and you don't give a damn, well, then, you know, but it'll only get so good. And to evolve it, I find it exhausting and constantly thinking about it, and you're preoccupied by it. And I know that kind of work ethic you have. So yeah, absolutely.
And you know what my favorite joke is, and you guys will totally understand it. Hey, I want to get rich. How do you do a podcast?
Right. I know. No, everybody wants a podcast. They think it's money.
And books. Oh my God, if you only knew how much I was in the hole. But I felt so called to do this. It's going to be a series. So I'm just I think this is kind of my lane right now.
Well, we're showing it on screen now, My Extra Mom. And Gina, how do people get the book, My Extra Mom?
It'll be in all your fancy retailers soon enough. But right now,
look at you.
Thank you. Great. But right now, Amazon is the easiest, most efficient. It's in hardcover, soft cover, and Kindle. And I'll even be doing an audio version soon, and that'll have lots of
Girl, you just woo.
You do woo, baby.
There's never been anything like this.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Mr.
It really is. You have arrived.
Can I highlight one thing about the book that some people might not know?
Please.
Actually, two quick things. Obviously, it's full of big, colorful pictures for little kids, and that's kind of the whole point. It's very user friendly for the little ones. But the second half of the book is all activity stuff. It's all questions and fun challenges and ways for the step parent and the stepson or stepdaughter to get to know each other, and the whole family can do it. I have asked this child in my life at dinner, how many times, how was school today? And I forgot is the main answer. I don't know. I forgot. He can do a dissertation on, would you rather have feet where your hands are, hands where your feet are? Or would you rather ride an elephant or ride a dolphin? I mean, so thank you. Stuff that's really disarming, stuff that kind of promotes bonding and fun and enthusiasm without, feeling pressured. Because the end of the book, it's sneaky, and I'm going to admit it. The end of the book is all the go deeper questions, all the what do you wish your step-parent knew about you? And what would you change? Now, you don't start with that, but after the silly stuff, you can kind of sneakily go there. And I specifically chose a font. I have something at the very beginning of the book, a note to the grown-ups, and I just want to show you real quick, that I've been told is hard to read, like hard to physically read it. And I said, thank you, because that was the point. I picked a font.
Show it to me one more time. Show it to me one more time.
I will. And I italicized it. So little ones who are kind of still learning to read wouldn't really be able to read it that easily, because that part of that introduction is not for them. That's for the parents. That's for, you know, hey, between you and me, this is what I think we can change together. And this is why I did this. This is not for the kids to read. The kids part comes next.
That's super clever. Yeah.
I hope everyone gets something out of it. And, you know, like I said, the only book I could find that was remotely close to what I was looking for was a book that was written in the 80s that I guess therapists used to hand out, like when Back to the Future came out, called Dinosaurs Divorce. And that is not what I was looking for.
That's crazy that there hasn't been more on this. It really is surprising to me, since it's so commonplace.
And that's what so I ended up self-publishing, because all of the children's publishing houses that I went to said, we love it. It's great. It's a little niche, though. Can we broaden it to, I was like, there's 118 million step relationships in this country alone. It's the
right niche is what I would say. Yeah.
I said, I'll just do it. I'll just do it. But maybe we can get together when, you know, the proof of concept is proven, because this is the niche. Well,
it's really cool that you came up with it. It clearly you put a lot of thought into it. Yeah, it's not just your feelings about it. It's sort of the it's the real drill down on it, which is really cool.
What a help for families trying to find their way, honestly.
Thank you so much. I keep saying it because it's true. It's what I needed. So I hope somebody else can benefit as well.
Well, I hope so too. And I'm going to hope that you'll come visit us again. I'm just looking to see if there are any comments I need to respond to right away that might be geared toward you. Gina Grad, by the way, her dad, the author of My Extra Mom, the new book, her dad, legendary, absolutely legendary broadcaster. You're from a family with that guy. He was the S, man. That guy was the guy.
Thank you. I couldn't agree more. I always thought that, you know, radio was just for old dads and they scream sports scores. And then I realized, like, he's onto something, and the grads need to talk. And he supported me. He was instrumental in getting me into this field just by being supportive of me. When people say, like, oh, Nepo baby, I go, oh yeah, totally. So check this out. I worked at a retail store on Rodeo. I was horrible at it. Finally, when I was going to jerk the wheel into oncoming traffic, I called him and I said, I got to get out of this. Like, can you help me, please? He he got an interview for me at KLSX. I showed up in my Hugo Boss suit with a briefcase because I was so desperate. I wanted to show them. They said, what do you want? Who are you? I go, oh, I want to be in radio. I'll do anything. So they said, hold our beer. And I ended up keeping my Rodeo job, but for a long time, answering the phones in the middle of the night on weekends for the public access show. So when I tell you,
that's an incredible story.
When I tell you I was born with a silver spoon in my mouth, believe me.
Wow, that's extraordinary. Yeah, and Gina's dad, Steve Grad, that's a great story. I never knew that about you. You've come up through it all, and I had no idea that you really, you know, were through the school of radio hard knocks on the way up.
I was this close to being on the street team, which I wanted to do, by the way.
So like throw out, you know, the street team, right? Kim, you know,
the promotions department. Absolutely.
Out there on the, exactly.
And then I would go in alone and with a friend and practice and do fake shows in the other room, Frosty, Heidi, and Frank's room, for anyone who's local here. And then when a man named Tim Conway Jr. needed a producer, he said, hey, who's that chick that's always talking to herself in there? And then he picked me. So it was just kind of these kismet, right moment, right place opportunities.
Well, that's the way it works. That's the way life works often. But you know, it's all, what is the saying, you know, when luck meets, what is it?
Preparation.
Preparation. You really have you
opportunity.
Yes.
Yeah. Opportunity. Something. It's somebody help me. What's the phrase? Anyway,
I don't know what you're talking about. Ignore him. Gina, you're awesome.
That's what I
know what you are talking about.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm talking about. It is Gina, good luck with the book. Thank you for being here, and let's make this visit something that we do regularly.
I would love to. And you know what? If you need any poker advice, Jennifer Tilly is always happy to give you some poker tips.
Tilly!
I know. I know that you're friends with her, and I just want you to know how much I love her.
That is a great impression. She is a dear friend, and you remind me we should have her on. Maybe we have the two of you together. Yeah.
We did that on the Carolla show. My heart almost exploded. We had basically dueling Tillies, and I would do it anytime.
Oh, that's terrific. I gotta go back.
That's real.
Yeah. All right. Gina, thank you. Gina Grad, everybody.
Thank you guys so much.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
You too.